a lot of people may not be able to. There are people that are buying sites that may be like 50K, and they're not going to be able to put a lot of resources into creating their own content. What sort of, like, for somebody buying a 50K to maybe even just under 100K site, what sort of content marketing strategy would you suggest they start to develop? Like, some of the key things, would it be set a schedule of writing 1 to 2 posts a month or a week, and then editing and filtering out the ones that are no good to the ones that are good, keyword research? What sort of strategy would you give them?
Yeah, so I mean, it really depends on the type of website and the nature of the business model. Obviously, if this, let's say it's a 50K site that is an affiliate website, well, content's central to the business model. So, you should be heavily invested in producing commercial content for the site and building out more reviews whilst blending in some non-commercial topics. But yeah, I mean, the process there would be to kind of think about a content calendar, as you've mentioned. Personally, I like to build out a lot of content. So I like to cover a topic in detail and just become an authority in the space. So my content calendars are big. Like, we've got hundreds of articles lined up for this first quarter, and we'll churn those out. But obviously you need decent budget to do that. So if you don't have a big budget, then you just got to prioritize on what you think you can rank. And so that's doing some keyword research and figuring out, which keywords have reasonable search volume but aren't incredibly competitive, and investing your time there. We generally don't get involved heavily on that side of the client's work. So we rely on them to come up with keywords and the content calendar. But we've got a really straightforward process once they know what content they want to acquire that content. So yeah, if it's a business that's not heavily reliant on content, then maybe just a light touch content strategy that probably goes after, again, like reasonable keywords, but potentially even more search volume, because you can invest maybe more time on individual pieces of content. So it's less of a volume play and more of a kind of high quality play. If you're a SaaS business, for example.
Yeah, okay, great. So with the keyword research, you don't particularly do that yourself. Most of your clients go away and they do that, give you the keywords and say, I want 5 articles in this next month, or 6 or 10 or 20. Do you end up teaching them how to do the keyword research if they don't know how? How does that work?
Generally, no.
They're just onto it and they say, I want this.
Yeah, I mean, initially we did have a product where we were doing the keyword research, the content calendar, and kind of all content ideation for the site and all of that front end work. But it ends up being a ton of work for not not enough remuneration really. And if we were to kind of price it at the right level, we would probably price affiliate marketers out of the market for us. We do that for clients who do want a white glove service, but those tend to be small businesses who have decent budget. And basically we do everything for them. So we're essentially an in-house outsourced content team for them. So we've got 3 or 4 clients like that, where they're effectively just let us manage their blog, and we do everything. Which is great. It's nice. Yeah, it works well.
It's better when you have more control, because you can get better results because you understand more of the moving parts there. I really agree with that. So a lot of people listening to this are like, okay, great. I've got to do my keyword research. I've got to set up a content calendar. And I mean, it's dependent. Like, I suggest to everybody that is listening to ensure that they're dropping off a couple of posts or pieces of content and putting more time, energy, and resources into creating more quality ones. I definitely suggest that. I don't know how you feel about that. You're nodding your head, so I guess that's a yes. Also, what about the size of the content as well? Like, I've heard, different things, 2,000 to 4,000 words or more. How many links is too many links? Should you have 1 to 2 inbound links, 1 to 2 outbound links? All of this sort of stuff. Like, what's a good
Again, I mean, we will do whatever the client wants. So if the minimum word count that you can order on our site is 500 words, which is too small for most websites. But if someone wants 500 words, we would, and for SEO, it's on the lower end, definitely. But so we don't enforce a word count level, and we sell on a per word basis. So if you wanted a 10,000 word article, we would write it for you. I can only give you how I would personally, in terms of affiliate, how I would personally build content. And in terms of length, I'm generally looking at around 2,000 words. Again, that can wax and wane depending on the competition, but that seems to be kind of a sweet spot. It could be a bit more than that, or a bit less. I used to do a little bit longer form, and I just find the market's moved a little bit back towards a medium level of content, although it depends which niche you're in. I mean, I just read an article the other day on Backlinko, Brian Dean, and his content's like super long, right? 3.5 to 5,000 words. So it really does depend on the niche, but I would say 2,000, 1.5 to 2,000 seems like a sweet spot for affiliate content. In terms of on-page SEO, again, we don't actually get involved in posting the article for affiliates. So whether they want to put 10 internal links and have 5 inbound links to it from internal pages, we just don't get involved in that. I've got my personal thoughts on it, obviously. We're heavily focused on producing high-quality content that is written well for humans, and for search engines alike, that answers the search intent and the query as best as possible, and feels trustworthy. That's our focus. We don't get heavily involved in the actual publishing of and on-page SEO of the article beyond that, really.
Yeah, I love that you said writing for humans and the algorithms.
That's pretty much, we train writers. Like I always say, write for humans first.